Who are you?
The Antichrist. You got me in a vendetta kind of mood. You tell the angels in heaven you never seen evil so singularly personified as you did in the face of the man who killed you. My name is Vincent Kirkcaldy. I work as counsel for Mr. Blue Boyle, the man your son stole from.
Oh man, what a great movie that is, eh? True Romance. I ended up putting that on last night after Darius was talking about how it was the first time he had ever seen it. Man, welcome to the party, buddy. That's a great movie. That's one there where Tarantino provided the script for it, but it was obviously directed by Tony Scott, the late, great Tony Scott, rest in peace. If you guys aren't aware of Tony Scott or even how he died, it's quite interesting if you want to read up on it on Wikipedia. It's pretty crazy. So obviously a great movie. That's basically how I want to start this video. Talking about movies, why not? Everybody's talking about Sonic the Hedgehog when there's real movies out there that we could be watching, right? So if you guys haven't checked it out, go check out True Romance, starring Christian Slater, the Incomparable, and Patricia Arquette, who gets full on nude in the movie, so worth checking out. So today's video, it's kind of an interesting topic here. We're talking about limited editions that have come out for various games throughout the years, and more importantly, recently, there's been a lot of companies out there that have been sort of cheapening out on what's considered a limited release or a collector's edition, if you will. You know, there's all kinds of various Kickstarter campaigns where people have signed up and only to get gypped when they get the product in the mail. Today's beer, by the way, it's going to be Grolsch, if that's how you pronounce it. It's a classic. It's a staple. It's a nice Euro beer for all you Europeans out there. So, again, I don't want to go all over the map with this one, but as most of you guys are aware, you know, collector's editions or limited editions, is nothing new in the gaming world. It's been around for a number of years. It started, I want to say, maybe around the mid to late 90s. We started to see it more and more. Nintendo is one of the first pioneers of the limited edition. You know, we had like the gold cart of Ocarina of Time, and there's plenty of other examples out there as well. But I think once we kind of got closer to the PS2, original Xbox era, GameCube, we started to see a lot more of the... Basically, it was a vanilla game, but a lot of times it would come in a nice steelbook. So that's what I wanted to kind of talk about today, give you a few examples, and then we'll kind of end it on, you know, some of the other examples of more recent times, and we'll leave it open to discussion. So I just want to show you some of the limited editions that I have. Again, this is the first one I want to show off. I bought this game day one when it came out. I went directly to Best Buy at the time. I think it was actually Future Shop. And back then, a lot of times, here it is, Duke Nukem Forever. Beautiful steelbook. Back then, if you picked up the game on day one, you'd get the steelbook at no extra charge. It would come with the game, which is the way it should be, right? So obviously, you know, not really a limited edition per se. It's just the vanilla game. But the steelbook is really what makes it special. And I'm a big sucker for steelbooks. I really enjoy having the steelbooks in my collection. So this one is fantastic. And, you know, a lot of times too, you know, like there was a Balls of Steel edition of Duke Nukem Forever that came out. I don't know if you guys remember that. And this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. So the Balls of Steel was quite expensive. It was over $100. And it came with a pretty cool bust of Duke Nukem. And it came with a few other goodies as well, postcards, whatnot. But what's the one thing that the limited edition didn't come with? It didn't come with the steelbook. Like, give me a freaking break. It's like recently, the Sonic Mania limited edition, collector's edition for the Xbox. It comes in a gigantic box. And I'm not quite sure what's in it. Maybe you guys can leave in the comments. I think there might be a statue or a bust in there as well. But out of everything that's included in this huge box, there's no physical release. That's what I've been told. Apparently, it's like a DLC code. What the fuck? That's ridiculous. if you're gonna go all the way out and buy a huge box set like that, you think they could at least include the physical disc. Like, that's the main course meal in the whole box. Like, what the hell? So it's just ridiculous. Again, I talked about this last night, but I was fortunate enough to pick up for $12.99 the limited collector's edition of Doom 3 for the original Xbox. And yes, I have this game on the 360, the BFG edition, but there's enough differences between this version and the 360 version that I ended up picking this one up as well. But more importantly, I wanted to have this beautiful steelbook. You know, it's just phenomenal. You know, unfortunately, I don't have the nice plastic slipcase that came with it originally. And the slipcase had the words Doom 3 in color. So when you slid the slipcase over, it would add some color to the steelbook. I don't have that, unfortunately, but still, like I said, this is a prime example of, you know, the type of collector's edition that I like. Just a steelbook, a nice color manual, you know, nice black insert, nothing too fancy, you know, just keeping it real basic. But then you have examples like this, where a couple of years ago I went out and bought this for the PC, and that's Thimbleweed Park, the big box edition for the PC. Now, yeah, this is pretty cool. Obviously, I didn't really get gypped as far as what was included in this, but you know, I buy something like this, and it has all these goodies inside. You can see there's maps and posters, and you know, there's even a floppy disk in here as well. Let me get it out for you here. There's even a floppy disk as well of Thimbleweed Park. But, you know, I buy something like this, and then I look at it, I glance over it for 30 seconds, I put it back in the box, and I never look at it again. So why the hell did I buy this? So I think that's an issue as well. I think a lot of us out there buy these collector's editions, we get all excited, and then we end up not even really looking at what we purchased. So I've been guilty of that. And, you know, I could have just bought the vanilla game, and I probably would have been just as happy. A couple of more examples here. Again, we have Mafia 2. This is, again, what I consider to be well worth your money if you're buying it used. Collector's edition. Obviously, it's got the nice slipcase. It's got the nice steelbook as well. So it's very nice. You can see it's embossed as well. And yeah, it comes with a nice hardcover book as well. So it's very nice to have in the collection, excuse me. Is it really necessary? Maybe not, but I only paid $20 for it. So I don't know how much it was brand new. But that's pretty good. I don't want anything more than that when I buy a collector's edition. Again, this is one of the more sought after ones, and that's Forza 2. It's a pretty awesome collector's edition as well. And the last one I want to show here is Alan Wake. This one's pretty awesome as well. It comes with, you know, obviously a book inside, and I don't think it has a steelbook. I'm not quite sure. Can't really remember. Yeah, there's no steelbook, but obviously you got the Alan Wake files, which is pretty cool. And yeah, it does. It comes with a nice digipack of Alan Wake. So yeah, a real nice collection. But like I said, a lot of people here, especially in the last couple of years, have really gotten burnt on the collector's editions. I know Ken from Ken's Games Collection, he got pretty burnt on the Shenmue release, Shenmue 3 Kickstarter campaign. He gets it in the mail, and there's a sweet fuck all that came with it. And then you turn around, and then like a week or two later, Limited Run Games has their own version of a limited edition Shenmue 3. So like it never ends. And like I said, they got Cyberpunk 2077. I think there's a limited edition you can pre-order. And you know, there's so many games out there where you can buy, you know, 5 different versions of the same game. I know Borderlands is another. And it's like, when does it end? Like when do you pump the brakes on buying limited editions? You know, a lot of us with our games rooms, those of us who are fortunate enough to have games rooms, you know, we're limited on space a lot of the times, and we have to be picky choosy about what we buy. You know, I'd like to pick up the Cyberpunk 2077 Collector's Edition. I would love to have that bust, but I have no room. Like, I'm running out of room. So it is one of those things, but I think the biggest takeaway here, I'm not trying to get too long-winded here. These limited editions are freaking expensive. So a lot of times these limited editions are almost as much as the consoles. Like, like it's pretty crazy. A lot of it's a cash grab. A lot of it, you get it, and it's coming with a bunch of crap you don't even need. So, you know, in my humble opinion, I'd like to see more companies go back to basic limited editions where we just get, you know, stuff like this. You know, comes in a nice box like this. Nothing too crazy. You know, keep it simple. Because otherwise, you know, we're going to turn into hoarders, and we're going to have, you know, an episode of Hoarders Buried Alive here, where we have so many collector's edition, you know, coming out of our asses. So, again, you got to be picky and choosy. Some people are on the fence about it. Some people love collector's editions. Some people can't stand them. Some people just want the digital release. And also, too, you got to consider what's considered limited, right? Like, I know Rage Leg Gaming reached out to me. He said he picked up a game recently called Astral Weeks? Astral? Not quite sure. But he was telling me that they produced like 25,000 copies of it. I mean, maybe back in the day that would have been considered limited, but nowadays we're living in a different era where people don't buy physical as much. Even if a music CD or a DVD sells 25,000, that's considered good. That's considered mass-produced in this day and age. So, like I said, I am pretty picky, choosy with my limited editions. For the most part, I try to pick up any that I see out in the wild for some of the older consoles like the 360 and the original Xbox. But as far as the Xbox One is concerned, the only limited editions that I really have in my collection would be Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition. Again, it's not really limited or rare, but it comes in a nice digibook. And obviously, I got Halo 5, which comes in a nice steelbook as well, with a couple of nice little goodies inside as well. So, yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about today. I know it's a short little video here. And then the last thing, how are we doing for time? 12 minutes. I wanted to say I've been listening to a lot of the band called Tad lately. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Tad, but there's an incredible documentary out. It's on YouTube as well about the band, about how they had a number of misfortunate missteps throughout their early career in the early 90s. Tad was, for those of you who don't know, an early 90s grunge band that was actually, you know, on tour with Nirvana at one point. Tad Doyle, the lead singer, a real big guy. And, you know, the documentary is just incredible. They were signed to Sub Pop Records, and they came out with an album where they found a photo, I guess, in a in kind of like a photo album that was at a yard sale, and they thought the photo was really funny, so they decided to use it for their album cover until the album hit the streets in Seattle, and I guess a local in Seattle recognized that their photo was on the front cover of the album, so they had to retract the original album and re-release it. So that was a huge blow to the record label as well. So just a phenomenal band. If you guys like Soundgarden, I highly recommend checking out Tad. Just a phenomenal band. So I'll leave you with a clip from Tad's album Inhaler, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So that's going to do it for this video, guys. Thanks so much, thanks so much for watching. As always, you take care.